How are we doing, Cog family? I hope everyone is well, everyone is safe, and I hope everyone is trading safe. Now, another quick little video on external range liquidity. Now, I did do a video on this before. Now, it's a case of, the question was then, what if you miss this, right? What if you miss this, right? So, make sure you watch that video for this to make more sense, okay? So, it's essentially using liquidity sweeps and continuations, yeah? So as I'm going to draw this, I'll just do a quick little marketing. So guys, if you do like the content on this page, give it a like, give it a share. And if you have not already done so, subscribe to this channel. It definitely goes a long way, right? So anyway, back to the real stuff. So external range liquidity is essentially my swing ranges, right? So what I want to see, and this is very powerful liquidity sweep as far as I'm concerned, right? So when I see a sweep of liquidity of my swing range, swing high or my swing low, yeah, and then aggressive reaction the opposite direction, at that point, from a simplistic standpoint, you want to trade away from it. You want to trade away from it. And if you literally look at this leg of price, which is essentially your most recent leg of price. Now, I'll do a video on these at some point. Essentially all this is an impulse. What we're looking for, a correction and an impulse. Yeah. Now, what else do we have here? We have a breaking market structure, right? And this is why it's so important to understand your bigger picture, right? Your bigger picture. So you've got breaking market structure. You've seen a sweep of external range liquidity, yeah, and price impulsed away, and in this instance, we've got change character as well. From there, what do we have? We have a correction, and let's say this was the setup, quotation marks, trading away from the sweep, yeah. You missed this because it's not within your trading hours, or you were just not at the charts, whatever it is, you miss it, yeah. That's okay. That's okay. Just understand what's going on next, right? And understand the bigger picture. In this instance, what's the bigger picture? We expect a pullback. So continuing to sell makes sense. Yeah. And at that point, what we want to see is if this impulse is starting to take out further demand zones. And if it is what we expect, and what do we have here? Impulse, expect a correction, and expect next impulse. Now, of course, don't lose track of the fact that, right now we've now mitigated into discount, at which point, you could potentially start to look to position in on your longs, right? Depending on what the higher time frame is saying, etc., etc. But essentially, this video, right? So if you see this external range liquidity sweep, all good. And then if you miss this setup, that's okay. Yeah. Just wait and see what happens next. And that's all what it is. So guys, quick little example. And then as always, test it. If it works for you, all good. If it doesn't, all good, because just don't use it. Okay. So quick little example. I'm not going to focus too much on the entries, etc. I just want to show you guys what the things to look out for. Yeah. So initially, what do we have? We have a sweep of ERL, right? Which is what we want to see, right? Which is really good, especially after breaks in structure, so on and so forth, right? Now, in this instance, just to actually give you guys a bit more context, we've broken this high, right? I'll just zoom out a little bit just so you can see. So we're essentially working within this low to this high. Yeah, so we're expecting that pullback. So all of this is now, going on pretty nicely, right? In terms of what we expect in terms of our EOF, and then we start to see this external range liquidity. And an aggressive move away. Yeah. What do we have after that? We have a correction, right? Impulse, correction. Now, let's say if someone that trades London session, this happened over Asian session, right? So from here, was your initial sort of chance to get in. Now at that point, like I said, just study what happens next and understand the bigger picture. In this instance, what we're expecting to see a pullback. Yeah. So we've got that initial impulse correction, and then so if you actually look here as well, we've got that change of character. Right, we've got that change of character, impulse, correction, it's all well and good. But you missed the trade. So what do you look at now? So look to understand what goes on after. Multiple levels of demand starting to fail. Multiple levels of demand starting to fail. Right? So at this point, supply is clearly in control, which makes sense because 1, we swept ERL, 2, we're expecting a pullback. Yeah. Now at that point, now I'm not going to go too much into detail of why I picked this POI, but this POI is pretty nice POI. It's well situated as well in order to look for these sells. Like I say, I'm not going to focus too much on entries or POI selection. I just kind of wanted to speak about ERL and the importance of, if you missed the first sort of setup, fine, look to play the continuation, right? As long as it meets the rules and plans of your trading plan. Yeah. So on the lower time frames, you can literally get in here. You can look to continue stacking your orders, or look to get in lower down here, right? There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But like I say, forget about entries, but just understanding after you see this sweep, right? It doesn't mean you have to. It does not mean you have to straight away get in here. If you miss that, understand who's still in control. In this case, this demand continues to fail, right? And then on top of that, if you add in your expectation order flow, if you add in, where this is reacting from on a higher time frame standpoint, and once you start to stack those confluences with ERL and external range liquidity sweeps, shall I say, it becomes very, very, very powerful. So as always, guys, thank you for your continued support. Really appreciate each and every one of you guys. And yeah, so that's it for me today. Quick little video explaining ERL sweeps and those continuations that you can take after that. Now, I highly recommend you guys go and watch the initial ERL video because this whole thing will make a lot more sense once you see that, right? So yeah, as always, if you've got any questions, just give me a shout on Telegram. And yeah, until next time, trade safe.